Well, one highly talked about issue that lawmakers are not expected to include in the regular session, after all, is voter redistricting. So the reaction from Governor DeSantis is that he's planning a special session for that. DeSantis wants lawmakers to redraw Florida's congressional map, joining 6 other states pushing mid-decade redistricting. In an exclusive interview with the Floridian, the governor said that a special session for this could happen between March and May. The timing allows Florida to watch U.S. Supreme Court as it reconsiders parts of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. That law allows minority voters to challenge maps that they see as discriminatory. Florida has constitutional limits as well to consider. Both the State House and the Senate must approve redistricting in order for this to move forward. Quite complicated and yet so important. Mitch, how do you see this?
Well, so the governor threw a new bomb in this week when he said he wants a special session. The House has already scheduled this week. They had a committee meeting, and they have one for next week. And in a way, he's basically saying your work is not going to matter. Okay, he's already got this battle going with the Florida House already because he wants it to be done in the springtime after the session ends in March. The Senate, by the way, had been so quiet about this until this week when Senate President Ben Alberton, who said, "We're not really doing anything about it right now, but senators, hold your powder dry because, hold your documents. There's litigation that's probably going to follow this. It always does. And so be very careful." So where are we at on all this? Well, DeSantis said this week in Tampa that actually he's going to be forced to do this because, of course, the Democrats are saying this is a violation of the Fair District Amendments because you're not allowed to gerrymander illegally in the state. You can't do it to favor a party, whereas Donald Trump said, hey, we're worried about losing the Congress next year. Republican states go change the redistricting here. But Governor DeSantis says, no, we're not doing that at all. We're going to be forced to do this because of the U.S. Supreme Court rules on this, as you just mentioned, the Voting Rights Act, Section 2 specifically about that. It's going to compel the state to have to do something about this. That's what he's predicting, and experts say that's probably going to happen in this conservative Supreme Court. Well, we don't know that yet. He's also saying that it's a matter of fairness in the respect that that Florida did not got jobbed in 2020 of the U.S. Census Bureau, and they should have had another extra congressional seat. So he has been hoping for another re-census, as it were. Correct. That's not going to happen, and he acknowledges that this week. So his contention is we have to do this, or we're going to be forced to do this, but we're not doing it for the reason why Democrats think we're doing this, because we're not trying to add more Republicans.
Well, there's so many developments that are, ready to drop. When you look at the map of the United States, there's more than 14 different states that are in various phases of redistricting. Janelle, how do you see this winning? Because the argument that it's only Republican states doing this is inaccurate. They're both doing it.
As long as there has been politics in the United States of America, there has been gerrymandering, and it does not conform to party lines, right? So Democrats have gerrymandered, Republicans have gerrymandered, everybody has gerrymandered. What strikes me the most about this is that in this case, everybody, California Governor Gavin Newsom included, saying the quiet part out loud. Like, they are actively saying, this is what we're doing. We need to get more seats for our party. For Republicans, it's to protect against what's expected to be a rough midterm. Thank you. Yeah. A rough midterm election. And for Democrats, it's in response to that. So, I think that's the biggest part for me. But even though this is a big deal, I don't want to downplay it. It doesn't change the number of Republicans and Democrats that you have in a state. And I say that to say this. If there is redistricting and it benefits Republicans, there is always the chance that blows up in their face. Because if you have what we have been seeing in off-year elections so far, the recent overperformance in Tennessee, what we saw in Virginia and New Jersey earlier this year.
There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee, and they might end up diluting some of their powerhouse seats to make other seats more competitive for them, and then lose both. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's a risk they run.
Danny, in the time that we have left, I'd like to hear your opinion on this.
I love consistency, and Lord knows we have not been consistent as a nation for many years. And I like the every 10-year thing, do the census, do the redistricting, whatever party's in power, they get to do it. It's just the way it is. But lately, it just seems we're reacting to so many different things that I don't think is good for our country. So I'm not a big fan of this at all, I have to admit, but I understand, just like Janelle said, with Gavin saying the quiet part out loud.
But Gavin Newsom said that because Greg Abbott already did it in Texas because he was ordered to by President Trump.
Yeah, none of them
I
are
said
being
they're
very
all
quiet.
saying the quiet
You
part
did,
out loud,
you
not
did.
just Gavin Newsom.
Well, from the news standpoint, the good news is that this will give us plenty of panels to talk about